Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. When I was invited and I got the background of the three gentlemen here today, the one word that came to mind was overachiever. Not only are these young men becoming Eagle Scouts, but what they have done from the time they were 7 or 8 years old to today has been nothing short of impressive. And I'm sure you all know the things that they have done, but I just want to highlight some of those items because I am incredibly impressed. The township is very proud of you today, and our heartfelt congratulations go to all three of you. So we know that all three members of the Boy Scout troop are a part of 368, and that they've had high-adventure trips like rafting through the Grand Canyon, backpacking in New Mexico, and navigating the rapids in Colorado. I actually grew up in Colorado, so and I summited Kilimanjaro about 11 years ago, so I know how difficult that you were going through and what you were doing. Splunking in West Virginia and Pennsylvania, somebody has to explain to me what splunking is later after the ceremony, because I wasn't quite sure. I could have Googled it, but I wanted somebody to explain it. Andrew, in particular, led a team of 12 in a community service project, creating a patio for the volunteer fire department, spruced up their horseshoe pits, and made a seating area consistent of a picnic table, bench, and birdhouse. And other notable volunteer and his interests are, he is first typo, for the GL Orchestra Violin, volunteer at Overlook Medical Center, National Honor Society, Tri-M Honor Society, National Science Honor Society, National Math Honor Society, and National Italian Honor Society. That's one impressive young gentleman. Sam? Yes. And I love this factoid. Sam and Andrew were born on the same day in the same hospital, so it was, I guess, meant to be forever. Sam led a team of 20 cataloging and scanning thousands of sheets of music that comprised of the Bartow Memorial Library for Governor Livingston High School. His team unearthed music that may have been inaccessible or even unknown for decades, with pieces going back to the mid-1800s and even a Broadway show from 1912. His interests are marching band section leader, jazz band guitar, captain of the GL Boys Swim Team, vice president of the Tri-M Music Honor Society, member of the National Math Honor Society and Science National Societies, National Commended Merit Scholar, and he was also an intern for Tom Malinowski for Congress. So that's an impressive young And Sohan led a team of 21 to construct the rest area next to the playground in Veterans Memorial Park, comprising of a 15 by 18 foot patio with pavers and 3 picnic tables. This is an area that is heavily used by Berkeley Heights parents and caregivers, and tomorrow we'll have a celebration. Tomorrow we'll be able to take advantage of that work as well. Soham is a trumpeter of the GL Highlander Marching Band, outstanding score in the NJMEA piano auditions each year since 2013, JV tennis team, JV wrestling team, science counselor at the Boy Scout Summer STEM Institute, summer intern at Drew's University Science Lab, an incoming internship at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School, and a volunteer at Overlook Hospital. You are an impressive young volunteer. In closing, I just want to note that I think there's one award that might be missing, and that's a proclamation for the mayor's office. So we'll make sure we'll get that to you. Congratulations, all three of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Devane. I'd also like to invite Brother Dave to wish everybody a welcome here.
Well, good morning. My name is Brother Dave, and I'm sort of like the guest master here and the Minister of Hospitality. And I want you all to know that how elated I am today to have all you beautiful people here present, especially for this tremendous occasion of honoring 3 of our scouts as Eagle Scouts. What a tremendous. I wouldn't even begin to do the first thing that some of you guys did. But I'll just be a humble missionary brother and proud of it. But really, this is your place, this is your home now, okay? Anytime you want to come up and spend some time and enjoy yourselves and just relax and have a good time, this is your home, okay? And if you ever need me for anything like that, just dial D for Dave, or just say, hey bro! Yeah. Enjoy yourself. While you're here, just to call your attention, you probably already saw it, the bells that are out there, the tower out there, that was the Tower of Honor, the 9/11 tower from New York. And we were lucky to get a piece of that through a friend of ours, and that's the real piece of the part of the tower that was there. Those bells came from our minor seminary, which was in Monroe, Virginia, and that bell rings every morning at exactly 8:46 a.m. to remind us of that tragic day. So if you have a chance to go over and honor people who have gone before us, and don't forget tomorrow, this weekend is Memorial Weekend, and we remember all those people who have gone before us, who have fought for our country, who helped to make America great. And we are a tremendous nation, one nation under God, right? One nation under God. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Dave. Next, I'd like to introduce Joseph Lang, who will explain the significance of the Eagle Badge.
The presentation of the Eagle Scout Award is an important and serious matter. For the Eagle Scout, this is the climax of the scouting efforts over as much as a dozen years. The attainment of this award is the fruit of the Scouts' own efforts and determination. Yet it was only possible through the assistance of the Scoutmasters, committee members, volunteers, fellow Scouts, parents, family, friends, and members of our community. Eagle is the highest rank in Scouting. The wearer of the Eagle Award is the embodiment of Scouting's best efforts and beliefs. Andrew, Sam, and Solon have distinguished themselves through their continued performance and active service in Scouting. They have trained in skills, grown their leadership, developed character, and gained a deeper understanding of citizenship. This is a celebration, but it is also important that we reflect on the significance of the Eagle Scout badge.
Thank you for that, Joseph. Next, we will have Vasant Bhardwaj present The Voice of the Eagle. Would the representatives of the ranks of the signs please come up at this time?
This is the voice of the eagle whose heights you struggled so long to reach. We remember well when first you came to the foot of the mountain, and how you looked up with ambition and determination. Look back a moment. Look back over the slope you have climbed, at the experiences of your ascent. Experience is a valuable teacher. We remember well when, as a Weeblo Scout, you arrived at the foot of the mountain for the first time. There, you crossed a bridge that led to the Eagle Trail. As a new scout, with your first step on the Trail of the Eagle, you began living the Scout Oath and law. We watched you learn by doing, building yourself physically, mentally, and morally. Then your brother Scouts called you a tenderfoot, and they were right, for you were tender of foot. But not for long, for soon you reached the first ledge where you were greeted by a group of second-class Scouts. Some stopped to catch their breath before continuing along the Eagle Trail. You learned more skills, worked harder, and almost before you knew it, you came to another ledge, the ledge where first-class Scouts dwell. There, You were tempted to remain, for the path ahead was less clear and the trail steeper. But ambition stirred you on, and you found that the trail was not as hard as it first seemed. You climbed higher until you reached Star Scout. From here, the path was harder and less worn. Fewer scouts had passed it this way. You looked back and saw the crowds of lower ranks winding along the trail far below. You looked up and saw the adventures that awaited you, and you climbed with renewed energy. In time, you reached the rocky crags of Life Scout. When the heart badge was placed on your uniform, you told yourself, I am close to Eagle. But now, you blazed your own trail, as you carried the burden of leadership, with the Scout Oath and Law as your compass. A long time passed as you strived for the peak, catching glimpses of it through the clouds. At times, it seemed unattainable, at times deceptively close. Yet you persevered, as your leadership expanded and your wisdom increased. Now you stand as an Eagle Scout above the clouds, on the peak in the clear, cold wind. You did it. Congratulations. From Eagle Peak, you could see many other peaks to climb, each with their own rewards and challenges. But now, you know what it takes. Now you know that you can climb any mountain.
You guys can all sit down.
Thank you so much, Basant, and all the representatives that came up to represent their ranks. Now, I would like to introduce Nate Muller, who will explain what the Eagle Badge is really worth.
The Eagle Badge, the highest rank a scout can earn. So what's it worth? In dollars and cents, it is $21.99. But what is it really worth? Providing scouting's worth is hard. There are no clinical trials and no studies of twins separated at birth to help. So the Boy Scouts of America surveyed men who had been scouts. The results proved what we had suspected. Former scouts have higher levels of education than non-scouts, earn more, and are more likely to own their own homes. Most attributed, some of them, their self-confidence to having been scouts, and then they could cite situations where scouting had made them better leaders. Most credited scouting with teaching them integrity, patriotism, respect, and teamwork. Results like those are the reason why many universities and employers value scouts, especially Eagle Scouts. They're also the reason why Eagle Scouts enter the military at a higher pay grade than other enlistees. Americans of all politics celebrate the values in the Scout Oath and Law. The Scout slogan, "Do a good turn daily," makes service an everyday obligation. From common acts of courtesy to Eagle Scout service projects, Scouts answer the call to service in many ways. In contrast to most other youth programs, Scouting runs the gamut from academics to athletics, from art to science, from service to commerce. Along the way, Scouts discover their own unique talents. Success in life requires the kind of preparation, problem-solving, perseverance, and self-confidence that you learn in Scouts. So what's it worth? It's worth a lot more than $21.99.
Thanks, Nate. Now, I would like to introduce Spencer Park, who's here to read some brief excerpts from the many letters of recognition that Andrew, Sam, and Soham have received.
Earning the rank of Eagle Scout is one of the few high school achievements that will prompt leaders across America to take their precious time out of their day and send a letter or a certification of recognition. Here are some brief excerpts from just a few personal letters sent to Sam, Andrew, and so on. The rank of Eagle means much more than an award for your accomplishments throughout your scouting career. It is a symbol that you have the tenacity to complete any goal and are prepared to overcome any obstacle. Congressman Tom Malinowski. An Eagle Scout badge is a fitting recognition of the determination, discipline, and intelligence that you have demonstrated in your pursuit of the highest level of achievement in scouting. Senator Bernie Sanders. May the high goals and ideals that led to this special honor continue to inspire you in your years ahead. President Jimmy Carter. Your accomplishment serves as an example of excellence and your source of pride for your community. President George W. Bush. The lessons you have learned from scouting will serve you well through your life. Governor Phil Murphy. Your hard work, patriotic spirit, and dedication to your community is evident. You should be very proud of your achievement. John Bradnick, New Jersey Assembly Minority Leader. As an Eagle Scout, I developed a passion for helping others that continues even today. And I hope your service will also prove to be invaluable experience for your personal growth and development. Michael Bloomberg. I have fond memories of an association with scouting. It is probably not apparent to you now, but the scouting movement will prepare you to meet the challenges you will face as an adult. It was through scouting that I learned my self-reliance, leadership, and other attributes that will be most valuable in later careers. Captain Jim Lovell, astronaut on Apollo 13, Apollo 8, Gemini 12, and Gemini 7 missions, and an Eagle Scout. Letters of certification of recognition have been received from Senator Bob Menendez, NASA, Military Order of the World Wars, Air Force Academy, U.S. Coast Guard, National Park Service, a Military Academy of West Point, Depth of the Interior, U.S. Navy Blue Angels, and Mike Rao from Dirty Jobs. So as you can see, the rank of Eagle is held in high regard by leaders across the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Spencer. Spencer is also an Eagle Scout. The letters and certificates of recognition are on display at the back of the room if you'd like to see them for yourself. There will now be a brief slideshow looking back at Andrew, Sam, and Soham's careers in scouting. I would now like to invite Scoutmaster Tomich to say a few remarks about Andrew, Sam, and Soham.
Thank you very much. I don't know how I follow up the letter from Jim Lovell, though, my personal hero. That's going to be a very, very tough one. I have a whole list of things here I want to go over, but unfortunately, Mayor DeVaney went first and took up 3/4 of them, so we'll see how this goes. Anytime. These three gentlemen here. Let me say, first of all, it's been truly my pleasure to be your Scoutmaster for the last year. I had big shoes to fill. Phil and Mr. Lee, where are you? There he is. In front, hiding. It was made incredibly easy for me to just keep things going because the troop is going in such a great direction, and that's the way we can be today. And with the help of our young leaders, our scout leaders, like these gentlemen. We are a boy-led troop, as we say. And we say that, it rolls off the tongue all the time. What does that truly mean, though? That means that our troop, wholeheartedly, 85% of the time, the direction is mandated by young men like this. And they're the ones who make it successful. Our upcoming boys have great examples set forward for them, and they know where they're going, mostly because we know where we've been. So, Howard, thank you for paving that way for me, and I promise I'll handle it off in at least as good shape as I found it someday. Maybe sooner than later, we'll see. But let me start by introducing these guys. We all know who they are, but let me start with Soham. Soham and I, there's a couple things that I want to bring up. He probably doesn't even remember. But for me personally, my first memory of Soham, we went to Winnebago together for the first time. He was already an established scout. I was a brand new assistant scoutmaster because, of course, as soon as I came to this troop 4 years ago with my oldest son, Michael, I was quickly ushered into taking on an adult leadership role, which I did, and I'm so happy I did, to be honest with you. But even more so, being very, very eager to get involved, I volunteered to lead up Winnebago that year, my very first year, being the lead adult on the trip, making sure the boys were safe and sound over at Camp Winnebago. And to say it was a lot of fun. It was great. I love the place. Still love camping with the boys. Could it be frustrating at times? Absolutely. Like herding cats, I think is how we sometimes refer to it as. There was one point, though, where I believe a scout had come up to me and asked me a question, and my honest answer was, I don't know, but I'll find out the answer. I'm new. This is my first year here. And so promptly responds, it's my first year too, Mr. Tomich. And it kind of broke it just, you know what, it made me smile. And that's what I needed at the time. And it was that type of positive energy that he always put out. Whenever we did anything and whenever we got involved, it was that positive energy that came through. Flash forward 3 years later, here I am going my first trip to Sabattis. And once again, now the difference between Sabattis and Winnebago, about 5.5-hour bus trip. And it was a long day. And it was a long week, and we had a great time. I think the boys had a great time. And I think at the end of the day, the end of the week, imagine that we were, we're camping for 7 days, and Sabattis is out there. It's about as close to the middle of nowhere as you can get in New York State. No cell service, no telephones, no anything. It's great. The boys actually get to detach for a little bit. And it was a long week, and me and the rest of the adults were like sitting there waiting for the bus. We were as eager, if not more, to get going home than the boys were. And at that point, the boys were just sitting there, and they were behaving, eating some box lunches that were prepared for them. And Soham turns to me and says, Mr. Tomich, how long were you a scout? I said, Soham, I was never a scout. Why do you ask? He goes, well, you're just so darn good at this, I figured you must have been. And he wasn't kissing up, and he wasn't trying to gain points with the scoutmaster. He was asking me a genuine question that pretty much made my week. And I never had a chance to tell you that, but you did. You made my week. So thank you very much. Moving on with this Eagle Scout project, I can tell you right now, Mayor DeVaney, this kid could run for council tomorrow, and based on the feedback from the caregivers and parents, all he has to do is say, I'm the one who built that picnic bench patio over there, because I've never heard so much appreciation from the public based on any Eagle Scout project that we've done that I've seen. It's incredible. It was truly needed, it was appreciated, and it really gave back to the community in a very positive way. And of course, like I tell you boys all the time, when you look good, you make us look good. When you make us look good, it makes the town look good. It's this domino effect. And it truly did have that effect. And it's still putting very, very good positive vibes about our troop out there, and we appreciate that. So well done. Very well done. All right, Sam, your turn. First time I met Sam, it was kind of got included that by the video presentation. But once again, Tiger Scout, my son Michael. Here we are up at I believe we were in Voorhees on a Cub Scout trip, and I, of course, den leader, 15 screaming little tiger cubs, which are, for those of you that don't know, the youngest age that boys come into Cub Scouts. Second grade, third grade, am I correct? Second grade? First grade, okay, I stand corrected. First grade. 15 first graders, and all of a sudden, here comes a little round-faced boy about this big, with a trumpet, of course, because what's better than a little round-faced boy than a round-faced boy with a trumpet, okay? Blowing reveille, getting the boys all charged up, and getting them, and guiding us into an open field, where our scoutmaster was dressed like I believe, a turn of the century, I believe it was an English knight, a medieval knight, yes, straight out of Monty Python. It was incredible. I have a picture on my iPhone. I wish I could share it with all of you. See me later, I will. And that enthusiasm, every time you see a picture of him in that slideshow, that smile is from ear to ear. And he always came with that enthusiasm. And again, it's great to say and remember all the great times about being a scoutmaster and being an adult leader. But anyone here who's done it will tell you it can be very taxing and it can be very, very stressful sometimes. But it's that type of feedback from the boys that makes you keep going and makes you say, you know what, this is all worth it. Okay? And Sam was one of those boys that was just always positive about things, and gave you that smile that made you want to just go ahead and keep, well, to me anyway. I see Howard, your little eyes over there. To me, always very positive. That was appreciated. Commenting on Sam's Eagle project, it's easy to do projects sometimes that are very high profile, that everyone can see, that will be out there, and that you'll get lots of obvious praise for. However, Sam's project was kind of in the back, in the backdrop of things. Why? Because it was very specialized, although incredibly important. Being a very big history buff and a very big supporter of the arts, especially the GL Marching Band, I can tell you that the job he did was phenomenal. He took over 100 years worth of history and ensured that it did not get destroyed. Okay, sometimes our history is not respected the way it should be. Sam saw that need, and even though it wasn't a big pomp and circumstance thing that everyone was going to see and say, oh, what a great job that kid did, he knew the importance, he recognized it, and he took care of it. Now, thanks to him, all that music is archived, all that history is archived, and we've also discovered a lot of other rooms up there at GL that have a lot of other history that will provide a heck of a lot of fodder for some more Eagle projects in the future. Okay, so thank you, Sam. Job well done. Very, very well done. Andrew was possibly the quietest scout I had ever encountered. As once I came in once again, Howard was a Cub Master in Pack 368, or Cub Scout Pack, and I was a new den leader. And Andrew was just that quiet kid, always off in the corner, always having a good time, but never real boisterous, never very loud. Not to me anyway. I'm sure he would disagree. His parents, but my first real encounter with what I call, the true Andrew, was when I came into Boy Scouts, and I got to see you in your position of ASPL and of programs, and I could not believe how this kid who I knew as a not very aggressive, quiet little kid, always complacent, he took that job by the horns and he got it done. I'm not ashamed to say that group of boys, they were lucky to have you, because if it wasn't for you, I don't know what would have happened there. You did an awesome job, and you got the job done. And that's what comes through. He came to me. I was involved in the Eagle Scout project for, with approval for his project, which was at the firehouse. Again, a truly appreciated project. That now there is actually a league on Wednesday nights where the guys at the firehouse play horseshoes, because they have some place to go and a place to put down their sodas, and in between games. And I've lost the silver or two there myself, so thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. All right. But once again, it just shows in all the variety, the different angles that all these boys came at with this. They're all very different people, very different men, very different young men. But together, they're what makes this troop. And that is why I cannot tell you how proud I am to be running this troop right now. They make it easy. They make it easy. When I first came, like I said, a few years back with my son, we decided to join Troop 368. The reason we did that is I saw these qualities in a lot of boys, just like these gentlemen. And I said, that's what I want my sons to emulate that. I want my sons to have those same qualities. And it hasn't really, it's paid off. It hasn't let me down for 1 second. These boys, just when you think you've had enough, they step up and you realize everything that they're doing is worth it. And that is turning them into the beautiful young men that they are. And I'm very proud of each and every one of you. Very proud of each and every one of you. On the same note, it also became quickly apparent to me that these morals and values didn't just pop up. They didn't just come out of nowhere. These boys weren't born with them. They didn't learn them in school. They didn't learn them on a street corner. They learned them at home from their parents. And I thank you folks for raising such great young men. They're obvious contributors to society. These guys are going to do great things. They've already done great things, and we can continue on that path. It's been my pleasure to be involved with them. And that is all because of you. This accomplishment is not just theirs, although it is yours also. And you should be very, very proud of that. And I'm proud to have known them, and I'm proud to keep working with you guys. All I can say is that the values of Scouts, God, family, country, those were taught at home, and they continue to show in these boys, in their faces and in their actions. So to the parents, thank you again. You deserve a very big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tomish. That was a very nice speech. I would now like to introduce Mr. Daniel Lee, Sam's brother and Eagle Scout of Troop 368, who will administer the Eagle Challenge and Oath.
The foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of character. A Scout is trustworthy. It is the first point on the Scout law for a good reason. Living honorably sets an example for others. May the right of the Eagle Scout medal remind you to always live with honor. The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. He will always pitch in and carry his share of the load. He is loyal to his community, his country, his own ideals, and his God. Let the blue of the Eagle Medal always inspire your loyalty. The third obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage has always been a quality by which men are measured. This means not only the courage to face physical danger, but also the determination to stand up for what is right. The Eagle Scout faces each day with fortitude, upholding the rights of others while defending their own. Let the red of the Eagle Medal always strengthen your courage. The fourth obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be prepared. He makes the best of any situation because he is always mentally and physically ready. Let the scroll of the Eagle Medal, which bears the Scout motto, remind you to always be prepared. The final responsibility of an Eagle Scout is service. The daily good turn takes on a new meaning when a Scout enters an adult life and continues his service. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and the oppressed. Let the knot on your medal remind you to do a good turn daily and always be a protector of the weak and helpless. You deserve much credit for achieving Scout's highest award, but wear your award with humility, ever mindful that the Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example. May the Scout Oath and Scout Law be your guide forever. At this time, I would like to ask all Eagle Scouts here present to please join me as a witness while I administer the Eagle Scout Oath to Andrew, Soham, and Sam. So all Eagle Scouts, please come up. And you three, please stand. Okay, Okay, please make the Scout sign and repeat the Scout oath after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training, example, rank, and influence count strongly for better scouting in my troop, in my community, and in my contacts with other people, always. To this I pledge my sacred honor. It is therefore my privilege and pleasure to pronounce you all Eagle Scouts. I call upon Scoutmaster Tomich to pin the Eagle medals on our Eagle Scouts.
Andrew, lay it forward. Samuel Lee. Congratulations. Well deserved honor. Soham Autry. Congratulations, well done. I would also like to say that his badge is a little different because he's already earned a palm, which means he continued to earn merit badges after he met his equal requirements. Well done, sir.
Our former Eagle Scouts will be seated.
Also stay here.
Stand here. I'd like to call the family of the Eagle Scouts to tie on the neckerchiefs.
And gentlemen, now with the please present your parents. These eagle pennants are proudly worn by the parents also to show their involvement, their support, and to thank you from their eagles and all the support that they've been given by their parents.
Thank you, Mr. Danieli and Scoutmaster Tomich. At this time, there are some special presentations. I call upon Mr. Kilmoden to present the joint resolution of the New Jersey State Legislature, both the Senate and the General Assembly, to our Eagle Scouts.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the State of New Jersey Senate and General Assembly, I'd like to read a joint legislative resolution. Each of the Eagle Scouts will have their own copy of this resolution. So I'd like to read this. One I have here is for Sam, but each one has one of their own. State and General Assembly, joint legislative resolution by Senator Kane, Assemblyman Bramnick, and Assemblywoman Munoz. Whereas Sam Lee, a member of Troop 368 of Boy Scouts of America in the township of Berkeley Heights, Union County, and an admired resident of this state, will be recognized with a special Court of Honor ceremony on May 26, 2019, for his attainment of the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas the Eagle rank is the highest to which a Scout can aspire, requiring the development of several skills, the application of continued industry and initiative, and the exercise of the highest qualities of character and citizenship. And whereas to fulfill the requirements for the Eagle rank, Sam Lee completed a demanding Eagle project, thus demonstrating his leadership, creativity, and concern for his community. And whereas Sam Lee has distinguished himself by his success in achieving a goal realized by only about 5% of the scouting population. And whereas as a result of his considerable accomplishments and exemplary dedication to excellence, Sam Lee has brought honor and pride to his family, his community, and this state. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby honors and congratulates Sam Lee on attaining the rank of Eagle Scout, commends his outstanding record of service, leadership, and accomplishment as exemplified by that rank, and extends to him sincere best wishes for continued success in all future endeavors. For each one of these scouts, Andrew. Second, I have a letter and a certificate of recognition from the United States Congress. I won't read the entire letter, but it goes on to say, very much the same thing about how proud our United States leadership is of these young men. And they each have a letter from Tom Malinowski and a certificate of congressional recognition. So we have one here for Sam. And up. Andrew. And so, congratulations, all three of you. One last thing before I sit down, just want to remind all Scouts tomorrow's Memorial Day, so please join us to march in the parade tomorrow morning and get out there and support your community as you always do. And I'd love to see you guys in your new Eagle Scout neckerchiefs out there marching with us tomorrow, so this goes for you too. All right, thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Kawan. I now call upon Dr. Kroll, our representative from the Rotary Club here today.
Thank you, everyone. No, I am not Hal DeMay. Hal has moved on. And Hal was a longtime member of our Rotary Club and a longtime scouter involved in the Berkeley Heights community. So now this is kind of the baton has been passed, so to speak. And kind of just briefly, and that everyone really I don't think most people have an idea of what Rotary Club is or what we do. And that our motto is service above self. That's the Rotary Club motto, and I think that's been exemplified in these young gentlemen here today and all they've done for our community. And that's essentially what we're really striving for, is being an adult part of service to our communities and the people around us. And it's kind of, everyone always thought it was like some grand business club kind of thing, and it's really not. It's a service organization. And every scout troop has to have a charter, and that the charter has to be signed off by a chartering organization. And here in Berkeley Heights, the Rotary Club is your chartering organization, Boy Scouts, and that's why Hal has shown up at everything known to God in Scouts in Berkeley Heights forever. And now you've got me today, gentlemen, and I'd like to say congratulations to you guys, your parents, your fellow Scouts, and your leaders, and for all the great work you've done. I think we just need to take a moment as adults and on those days where we say, holy crap, I hope I die soon because the next generation is not going to do anything for us. And you guys serve as an inspiration that there are bright young people out there doing the right things and that will help our communities and countries stay on the right path. So we just got a certificate, and these will be put in your pile that you'll put on the kitchen table, and your mom will yell at you in 2 days to please clean up. It's just a certificate from the Rotary Society acknowledging your achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kroll. We also have Mrs. Park here from... Joe McLaughlin, I'm sorry. We have Mr. McLaughlin here from Friends of Troop 368.
So I'm here representing Friends of Troop 368 and our president, Rick Juergens. So before I hand out some plaques here, I just want to talk a little bit about the Eagle Scouts. I won't go on as long as Rick does, so don't worry. But I was flipping through these pamphlets. I was watching the slideshows looking back there, You guys have really done some great stuff. I was flipping through this. All these scouting awards, like, I mean, I don't think I have one of these. I mean, this is crazy stuff. But seriously, I mean, you guys have traveled the world. You guys have all these leadership positions. It's really cool. So hopefully, I hope you guys do is internalize it and, you know, go out in the real world and really make a name for yourself in Eagles everywhere. So give them a hand. Yeah. Represent the Friends of Truth 368. For those of you who don't know, it's an alumni association. You know, purpose is to just, you know, extend the community and keep us close together and, you know, interacting with the troop and with each other. You know, we do fun trips together. We do, you know, a lot of assistance for the troop as well. We do the Eagle Scout Assistance Program. So if you're a Life Scout, you know, looking to get some assistance with your Eagle Scout project, we can help you out. We also do camperships for high adventure and summer camp. A lot of cool programs. And another thing we do is we like to give out these really cool plaques. So, you know, once I'm sure you guys all go to college and you guys are going to get like nice degrees and you're going to frame them, right? This will go right next to your degree, I hope. It's got a cool eagle on it. So we got one of you for each of you guys. So, yeah, congratulations again. For the website, of course. With the flag. Thumbs up. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, Joe. I only called him Mr. McLaughlin because we got the tie. So.
I like it, actually. You guys are great, too.
I now invite Tom Agnihotri to present his acceptance speech for Eagle. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. This is mostly just a list of people I'm going to thank and people who have had a deal of influence on my scouting career. I would like to start off by thanking Mr. Allegra. Mr. Allegra was the first Scoutmaster I had. He made sure that I would stick with scouting for life. Mr. Allegra was my first, I forgot to write him down, Mr. Allegra was my first Scoutmaster and Joe was my first SBL. So both people who definitely made sure that I would stay in the program. Thank you, Joe. The older scouts at the time, who held leadership positions in the troop, set a constant example for me and showed me what scouting was all about. We all looked up to them, and they showed us how to exemplify the scouting values, get the job done, and have fun along the way. I would also like to thank Mr. Lee. Under Mr. Lee, I went from being a scout to being a leader. While Sam was SBL, I became an ASBL, and I think we did a pretty good job of running the troop. Mr. Lee held himself back and let us run the show. In doing so, we learned how to be leaders in the best way possible. I also want to thank all the assistant scoutmasters who have helped the troop throughout my career. Adult involvement is really important to make sure the troop runs smoothly. I'd like to thank Mr. Pilara for guiding me through the Eagle process. There's a lot of paperwork involved, and without Mr. Pilara, I would have been completely lost. I want to thank Mr. Caprio for helping me think about how to do my project. I come from a family of people who work in offices. I did not know how to make a patio when I was starting out, so he was a big help to me. I want to especially thank Mrs. Carolyn George. She ran everything from the rec department side. She helped me settle on a project and promised me whatever materials I needed. When my initial project fell through, she ensured that I got another one in a new location. I'd also like to thank the DPW for providing me with the tools I needed for the job. Taylor Rentals helped me out a lot during the project. When our first plate compactor broke down, we asked Taylor Rentals if we could borrow one from them. Not only did they lend us a plate compactor free of charge, but they gave us a truck to transport it in, again, free of charge. I'd like to thank the adults and the scouts who gave their time to my project. Nothing would have gotten done without them.
Before I finish, I'd like to address the younger scouts in the audience. The road to Eagle is not an easy one. You have to keep going for a reward that may be years off into the future. However, if you stick with it, I can promise you that it will be worth it. It will not be easy, but it will be worth it. Finally, I'd like to thank my family. They were with me throughout every stage of the scouting career. They were always willing to provide whatever help I needed, volunteer their time, or let me go off to some strange place with the troop. I'd like to present 2 mentor pins, one to my father and one to my mother. I'd also like to thank Matt Corona. I also just want to say thank you to Mr. Tomich. He's been a huge help to me this entire time, and he came into the troop the same time I did, and he's been with me every step. So thank you, Mr. Tomich.
Thanks, Ethel. Next we have Sam Lee to present his acceptance speech for Eagle.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who made me getting here a possibility. So my family for supporting me throughout the process. Mr. O and Mr. Ellis for giving me a project to do and sacrificing so much of their time to help make that project work. Mr. Kawara and Mr. Schultz helped me to get my project, my very strange project, through council. Mr. Tomich and all the adult leadership of the troop for helping to run the troop and making it such a great place. All the volunteers who came out to help me with my project, especially people like Andrew, Soham, Basant, Matt P. They put a lot more time than they should have into my project. They really made it possible. And especially those who helped to finance my project, the Friends of Troop 68, Rotary Club, and Mrs. Apicella and the Wharton Music School. I wouldn't be where I am today without all of you. So working towards this achievement has just been an absolutely incredible journey. From the Grand Canyon to Philmont, to the annual canoe trips, some of my best memories are from Boy Scouts. I've been given leadership opportunities and outdoors experience that many people just don't get, and I'm grateful I had the privilege to be a part of this program. The Eagle Scout Award is something that all of us up here have been working towards since the day we joined the scouting program. Being here today is really the culmination of these efforts, and I'm happy to be up here with Solomon and Andrew, who really been with me since the beginning. So now comes to the mentor portion of the speech, and I want to present my mentor pin to someone who reminds me to keep pushing no matter what gets in the way. That's my brother, Anthony.
Finally, we have Andrew to read his acceptance speech.
Okay, I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for some very important and influential people in my life who've inspired and encouraged me to work hard to achieve my dreams and meet my goals and objectives. I understand now that my accomplishments are not mine alone, but shared with those who surround me through their inspiration and words of encouragement. To my mother and father, thank you for loving and supporting me and always pushing me to achieve my goals. And thanks for reminding me to have a little fun along the journey. To all my Scoutmasters, leaders of Troop 368, and fellow Boy Scouts that I've gotten to know over the years, I thank you for your dedication to the troop and for taking the time to help me understand the qualities of leadership and the importance of living the Scout oath and law. To all the project volunteers, thank you for your hard work. humor, and camaraderie that it took to complete this project. I could not have done it without you, so I am forever grateful. To Hall's Garden Center, Home Depot, LVMH Corp., BTW Enterprises, and K Plus Design, thank you for your time, direction, talent, and materials. Scouting has provided me with a childhood of awesome memories and experiences. Each adventure I take with my troop is forever embedded in my mind, and I will cherish each one as I move on to a new chapter in my life. There's one person who I'd like to call out as my mentor, and that person is Mr. Lee, who's always encouraged me during the harder times along the journey. I will always remember our awesome adventures during Winnebago, Sabatis, the Grand Canyon, and Philmont, the ultimate scouting experience. Thank you for making me believe I could become an Eagle Scout. Mr. Lee, please accept the Eagle Mentor Pin as a token of my appreciation.
And thanks to Matt Pete. Thanks so much, guys, for your acceptance speeches. Congratulations. Would everyone please remain seated for a few more minutes for announcements from our Scoutmaster, Mr. Tokich.
I promise I'll be quick this time. Actually, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming again, for taking time out of a busy holiday, weekend, beautiful weather. All that taken into consideration, the place I would rather have been for these couple hours today. So thank you again for making me a part of it. I appreciate it. This summer, we have some great stuff planned. Okay, a few reminders, folks. Remember, we're going to Winnebago. We're going to Sabatis. Let's get those registration forms in, please. We only have a few scout meetings left, so please get those registration forms in. Parents, medical forms. We need medical forms for those going to camp. Please make it happen. For our older scouts, our seniors, we're going to Key West in July. Okay, we're going to Sea Base. Again, get those medical forms in, please. It's getting mighty close, and more than a few of you do not have them in yet. I think that we waited to you from that plane as we're, going off the tarmac. That would not be good. All right. Again, families, everyone, thank you for your support. We couldn't do this without you. And thank you. Gentlemen, congratulations again.
Thanks, Mr. Tomich.
Oh. How could I forget? Great job. Great job on the MC.
On behalf of Andrew, Sam, Soham, and their families, and myself, I would like to thank everybody for attending today's ceremony and sharing in this celebration. I also want to convey a special thanks to all of the adults who participate in our scouting program. It's only through their service that our scouts have this opportunity. So adults, please enjoy the refreshments. Scouts, just wait a bit for the adults before helping yourselves. Yeah, you guys are free to eat. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, how are you? I heard. My nephew.